regularly visit us here at the city.
Mayor, could I take just a moment of
Please.
privilege?
Sure.
Just for those who are in attendance, I had unexpected eye surgery last week. That is why I'm wearing the patch. I've been instructed to look down as much as possible, so I will be doing that. It's not to be rude or that I'm not engaged. I am listening, but I am going to spend a lot of time like this. I just wanted you to be aware of it so you didn't think I was off somewhere else.
Thank you, and we wish you a speedy recovery. Also, we should announce that Councilmember Michael Shelton, who is traveling and he's out of the state tonight, and we excuse him as well. I think that's all the housekeeping things. Now I'm excited to recognize two groups of young people in our city. This is always one of the honors we have as a city council, is to join in the celebration of outstanding accomplishments. And tonight we have two such groups from our high school right behind us, Brighton High School. First, we'd like to recognize the Brighton High School Model United Nations team. And Declan, I'm going to invite you up to the microphone and tell us a little bit about what's happened this year for you and your group. And please introduce, your instructor and anyone else you feel is important. I know you guys were debating who should speak and who's the real leader, but they chose you, so you're up here.
Well, my name's Declan, as you said, and I'm the co-president with Alex here. And our instructor is James Hodges, who's back there. And this year's been really good for Brighton MUN. So first we spent months preparing to go to our national conference, and then everyone you see over here is our team that went to New York to participate in a conference with thousands of kids from over 30 countries, where we ended up winning the preparation award there, which is the highest award you can get. So that was really exciting for us, made all our research and work pay off. And then on top of that, just today, we swept at state. We got all superior awards, and we won this plaque here, which is really exciting. And then everyone who's here was there as well. So it's been a lot of fun, a lot of work, but it's paid off. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. Along with that, as a city, we have a proclamation that we've all signed I'd like to read to you tonight and present. This is Proclamation 2019-02 in recognition of Brighton High School's Model UN team. Whereas it is the intention of the mayor and the council to focus attention on noteworthy accomplishments of youth within our city, and whereas the Brighton Model UN team recently competed at the National Model UN competition in New York, and whereas the Brighton Model UN team was the only Utah school chosen to attend the competition, and whereas the team won first place as a distinguished delegation in research and preparation at the competition, and whereas, led by faculty advisor James Hodges, each member of the team proved their devotion to success by exemplifying selfless teamwork, personal commitment to excellence, and whereas the Brighton High Model UN team has exhibited outstanding qualities in the community throughout the years, representing their community in many previous competitions. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that the Cottonwood Heights City Council establishes April 16, 2019 as the Brighton Model UN Team Appreciation Day for the city of Cottonwood Heights, Utah, and salutes these bright young students for exhibiting outstanding leadership qualities for future generations, while recognizing James Hodges, parents, teachers, and community members for their contribution to the success of the team. Thank you again, and congratulations.
I'd just like to point out, these guys look fantastic. Really sharp.
If you could maybe kind of slide this way, kind of diagonal to the dais like this, we can fit more folks in. Come over this way. If we come this way, kind of like face this direction. There we go. Slide on this. There we Mr. Hodges hiding in the back there. You put him up to this. We can have you folks in here. I got this platform. I want to get that out of here. Everybody slide a bit more this way. That's awesome. Keep on going. There you are. There you go. Keep on going. Excellent. There we go. All right. Everybody look over here. Wow, there's a song with that too. Hold on. Hello, everybody. Thanks. You guys do your thing.
And that will probably be at least 1 gigabyte of social media posts. That's awesome.
As we mentioned, we have outstanding students, both academically and athletically, and of course with the UN team. We'd like to recognize another group tonight, and this is the Brighton High School team and Coach Todd Etherington. Before we do that, I think it's worthy to note that we're blessed with having an outstanding recreation center in our community, and it has a partnership with the school district to provide swim facilities. We have Ben Hill, the director of that facility here, and Debbie Tyler and Bart Hopkin and Lisa Durant, who are all members of that team up there that supports Cottonwood Heights swimming with the high school, and of course outside the high school, many other competitive events. But again, those of you who've been in Cottonwood Heights know that there's a tradition. When it comes to swimming, Cottonwood Heights is always at the top. Todd Etherington has been coaching up there for about 20 years as head coach, almost, right, Todd? Close? 18 as head coach. Yeah, 18 as head coach. I remember. Whoever helped hire you did an excellent job. That's all I can say. But anyway, Todd, come on up and tell us a little about this year's team, would you please?
Well, we were told when we walked in we only got to talk if we filled out a card.
Well, you want to fill
You're
it out?
making me talk. No.
You've never shied from talking, so.
That's what you think. This year was a very special year for us. Coming into the season, we were coming off a state championship last year that pretty much we planned for and graduated quite a few big boys. And we're not returning a very strong team, so it seemed. Coming into the season, we were picked third for the boys, going in behind Skyline and Olympus, with Cottonwood right there in the mix. And it wasn't really till the end of the season that things started to look a little bit different for us. Actually, our last meet before the state championships at Region, where it really became obvious that we might be able to do this. One of the things we talk about every year is not ever giving up, because you never know what the next moment might bring for you. Sometimes you could have one of the most awful swims and be able to get back up and have one of the most outstanding swims the very next race that you have. And that's kind of how we approached this season, and that's how things ended up working out for us. Our boys won their second state championship in a row, and I believe it was the 23rd boys championship for Brighton High School this year. Some pretty outstanding things. Along with that, Rachel Butler reset her own state record in the 200 IM and was state champion in both that event as well as the 500 freestyle. And I could go on and on and on and name all kinds of outstanding accomplishments, some of which might not have happened at the state meet. But one of the most impressive things to me is not the great swimmers that I get to work with, but the outstanding people that end up being swimmers. So, thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Stay here. Stay up here, Todd. And the proclamation will note his personal accomplishments as well. But again, the city would like to recognize Brighton High School and its swim team this year. And so it's Proclamation 2019-03 in recognition of Brighton High School swim team and coach Todd Etherington. Whereas it is the intention of the mayor and council to focus attention on noteworthy accomplishments of persons within our city, and whereas Brighton High School swim coach Todd Etherington was recently honored by the Utah High School Activities Association as the 5A Coach of the Year, again, didn't say again, but I'll say that, for the second year in a row, and whereas Coach Etherington has been a constant influence for excellence in the lives of Brighton swimmers for many years, and whereas the Brighton High School swim teams have won numerous state championships, including the 2018 and 2019 Boys 5A Championship, whereas the Brighton High School boys and girls swim teams include several individual champions, including Rachel Butler, who set a state record in the 200-yard individual medley in the recent 5A state champion. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that the Cottonwood Heights City Council establishes April 16, 2019 as Brighton High School Swim Team Day in the city of Cottonwood Heights, Utah, and salutes athletes, students, parents, teachers, Cottonwood Heights Recreation Center staff, friends, neighbors, and community members for helping this team represent the best of our community. Congratulations, Todd, and the swim team.
Swim team this stretch. I don't think we can fit you up here. You guys stand up. Again.
I only brought a few of them. I should have brought all 90.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Please, go right ahead, or any comments from the council. Yes, please.
Amazing accomplishments tonight. Thank you for sharing them with us. I just had one question. Are there any Brighton swimmers, or is there anybody in the crowd that was on both teams? And if there was, can you please stand?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think Ms. Butler mentioned to me that she's going to the University of Minnesota. I assume that's a nice scholarship, right? Yeah, congratulations on that. And I'm sure most of you have also been received some recognition for continuing your education. So thanks again for your attendance tonight. We will excuse you if you do need to leave, but you're welcome to stay, all right? All right. Yeah. Okay, those who are remaining, if you would like to speak to the council and haven't filled out a comment card, they're at the back, and you can hand it to Dan right here. If not, we'll proceed with citizen comments at this time. First, I'd like to invite up Nancy Hardy. Nancy, come on up. Welcome
Hello.
back. Yeah.
Hi, thank you. Well, I just wanted to touch base about Wasatch Boulevard since they just had that open house. And some of the things that they had presented were a little surprising. But anyway, so my main question is, what is happening to Cottonwood Heights? I feel like sometimes we're being attacked from all sides and we're letting it happen. We're losing our charm and character little by little. Creek Road is the latest and not so greatest example. And now we're on the verge of letting UDOT build a 5 to 7 lane commuter road that divides us both physically and mentally. I think I shared that with you. And they indicated that it is a commuter road to get to the southern cities, Sandy and Draper. So with that, if it's a commuter road, nobody is coming into Cottonwood Heights. So what's the benefit to Cottonwood Heights? And why are we doing it? It's taking away 6 family homes, trees, and again, chipping away at the charm and character of that area of the city. And Cottonwood Heights is currently widening the intersection at Highland and Fort Union, and that's a great commuter route, and is 1300 East. And 1300 East is the boundary of Cottonwood Heights, and both those roads go to 215. I believe we should keep Wasatch as 2-lane road, and maybe with the flex lane in the middle, add safe bike lanes and walking paths, and just make it a fun road, duplicate it to match Sandy, because it just would be a good flow for that side of the town next to the mountains. And UDOT has regional goals, but do they align with Cottonwood Heights goals is the big question. And I did have a couple questions. Does the city support the UDOT activities? And does the community want a thoroughfare through Cottonwood Heights? And does the city want a highway thoroughfare through Cottonwood Heights? I think everybody should work together. We all live here. You guys live here too, you know. We should make a city together, not divided. And everyone should be upfront about it and what the big goals are. Sometimes we don't know what the big goals are. Growth and development doesn't have to take away charm and character. There's evidence of that in other cities. So anyway, just don't let money be the driving force of everything. Thanks.
Thank you, Nancy. A quick response. I typically don't respond, but the council can join in on this. We want the audience to know, and those listening, that Wasatch Boulevard and what happens there is one of our highest priorities and concerns. We are meeting with UDOT regularly. We have many questions of what they're proposing. We're not sure a lot of what they're proposing meets our expectations or our desires. I know that some organizations in this valley years ago did some studies that talked about how freeways and thoroughfares divide communities. So we're concerned about that. We're concerned about those residents who live above Wasatch, those who live below. We're concerned about access. We understand that it's a state road. It's not our road. But much of what you're saying conceptually, we agree with. Now it's how to proceed. Again, it's something we're actively pursuing. Though UDOT refers to a Wasatch Boulevard master plan from the city, that has not yet been adopted by our city. We'll be meeting that here in over the next few weeks and come up with something. It's on our website. You're welcome to look at it, still make comments about it. But Nancy, conceptually, with most of what you're saying, I agree. There's a few challenges within that. I think enhancements are critical. Trails, trees, planting, walkability, yes, access. But it's a challenge to say the least. If you read the newspaper, Deseret News, the mayor of the county, it's a high priority there. Central Wasatch Commission is involved. State legislature involved. It's a very complex issue, but it's within our city. It's our community, so we understand that. So I usually don't like to respond, but I don't want people to think that we're not watching it very closely. Any comments from the council? If not, Tim Halbeck, Tim, come on up.
I know his favorite letter. R. Yeah. Anyway, had to.
I'm glad somebody did that. Yeah, I
I
wouldn't.
was waiting for it. I was going to give you a quick update. So I got the images from the Ferguson Canyon trailhead from Gilson Engineering. I am working with a sign company, and there's a kind of a delay. I wanted to make sure we had the right kind of material up there and a more permanent material. The one we're looking at now is UV resistant, but it's also graffiti resistant. So you can actually use goof off for your favorite kind of cleaner on it rather than having to replace the thing when the urban artists come by, that kind of stuff. And this was going to be the very first, this is going to be our trial sign. So this will be at the very first one when you take your right hand up there by the Ferguson Canyon Trail.
Right.
So it'll be done hopefully within about a week or so. We're waiting for the local, I use city signs over in Midvale. They don't stock the graffiti-proof UV resistant stuff. They'll know the UV stuff, so that's on back order. But as soon as that's done, we're going to have some good-looking stuff up there. So,
Tim, thank you so much.
Yep.
If you haven't been to that trailhead, the original signage got pretty much destroyed over the years, so we appreciate your efforts. And
yeah, it's all good. And the only thing is we have 5 images, but there are 7 signs, so I don't know what we're going to do there. But we're going to put this trial one up there first, let it sit there for a couple of months, make sure the material is good, and we'll go from there.
Tim,
Thanks.
thank you very much. Appreciate it. Anyone else who'd like to address the council? That's the only 2 cards I have, right? Okay, then we'll move on to, we have 4 action items. The first item, if you remember in the city 2 summers ago, we had a major fire at off Banbury Road and about 30th East, give or take a block. And since then, our city's been very sensitive of designating those areas that are potentially a fire hazard based upon the fuels that are created because of weeds and things. And so we've been very careful over the last couple of years to identify those areas and to prohibit fireworks near those. So we've reviewed and worked with our fire marshal and our fire department in define those areas by state statute that allows us to define those areas. And so tonight we'll have a resolution formalizing that we send to the fire department. They take it to the county, and then it's published. And then when you go buy fireworks, it's on a sign in the tent where you buy them. Anyway, that is Resolution 2019-21, designating areas closed to discharge of fireworks. Any further discussion on this issue from the council? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
I move that we pass Resolution 2019-21.
It's been moved by Councilmember Bruce, seconded by Councilmember Bracken. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Councilmember Michael.
Before I vote, I'd just like to say that while we're voting tonight, there is still an opportunity to update this should we find out we missed something, and we can defend that. So, yes.
Yeah, we have until, I think it's May 1st, is it? Yeah, until May 1st. If somebody sees something or you look at the map, it'll be online. Yeah, let us know. Yeah, thank you. Call for the vote. Councilmember Michael?
Yes.
Councilmember Bruce?
Yes.
Councilmember Bracken?
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton is excused, and I will vote yes. The next item is designating representative to the Valley Emergency Communications Committee. I guess that's what it's called, VEC. We have 2 members. Councilmember Shelton is our representative, and as an alternate, it's our city manager, Mr. Tingy. And we need to have those appointments. Any discussion on that issue?
Councilman Shelton's been a representative there, I think, put on the council, and I expect that we need to formally appoint Tim as his backup.
I think that's correct, yeah.
I've not done that since he started.
Right.
I'd move that we approve Resolution 19-22.
It's been moved by Councilmember Bracken. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Bruce. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Councilmember Bracken.
Yes.
Councilmember Bruce.
Yes.
Councilmember Michael.
Yes.
And I will vote yes, and Councilmember Shelton's excused. Next item of business, 4.3, is Resolution 2019-23 declaring surplus one of our police canine, Ocho, as the name of the dog, and authorizing the sale of that asset. And we've had some discussion of that in the work session. And I think there was item 3B that was a question on. So any further discussion on this surplusing of an asset of the city's?
I would comment, I'm happy to see the dog's going to stay with the handler that he knows and loves.
Thank you. Hearing none, any other comments? If not, I'd call for a motion.
I move that we approve Resolution 19-23 with amendment to that of striking that section 3B, deals with the non-conveyance, and have the mayor be able to adopt it after that adjustment is made.
Second.
Thank you. Second, been moved by Councilmember Bracken, seconded by Councilmember Bruce. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Councilmember Bruce.
Yes.
Councilmember Bracken.
Yes.
Councilmember Michael.
Yes.
And I will vote yes, and Councilmember Shelton's excused. Okay, our last item of business is Resolution 2019-24, approving a float agreement with Innovative Design Concepts of Utah Incorporated. As most of you know, we have a parade in our city, and we have a city float that is entered into our own parade and is in Days of 47, and then in a reciprocal fashion is in several other parades throughout this valley. Any further discussion on this?
Just make a quick comment that we really emphasize that we're asking Innovative Design to come up with some sustainable practices and recyclable material in the making of the float.
I'm glad you made that clarification, yes, and Tim will make that happen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'd call for a motion.
I move that we pass Resolution 2019-24.
Been moved by Councilmember Bruce. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Michael. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. Councilmember Bracken.
Yes.
Councilmember Michael.
Yes.
Councilmember Bruce.
Yes.
And I will vote yes. And Councilmember Shelton excused. Okay, that's the end of our business items, other than we have a consent calendar for the minutes of March 5th and March 19th. Could I have a motion to approve those minutes, please? Anybody want to approve the minutes?
I get to read them all.
I move that we approve the consent calendar.
It's moved that we approve this calendar. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, they're approved. Motion to adjourn, please.
I
So
move
moved.
that we adjourn.
Or second.
Moved, we adjourned, and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.
Hear Paula down there going like.